The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes trailer was recently released, and as a fan of the Hunger Games who's been waiting for this movie, I decided to make this video to explain and break down this trailer for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first scene we see from this trailer is the Academy, and it's pretty much how I pictured it from the book. The Academy is a school for the rich kids of the capital, and this is where our main character Snow studies in. We then see the inside of the Academy with the students in red, and there's Dr. Gaul announcing something. She says,
I am honored to introduce to you the creator of the Hunger Games themselves, Dean Casca Highbottom.
So let's back up a bit. Dr. Volumnial Gaul is Snow's evil professor and the head game maker during this time. She is played by Viola Davis, and even if she isn't that book accurate looking, I think she plays the role very well from what we see in this trailer. Dean Casca Highbottom is the creator of the Hunger Games, and he's played by Peter Dinklage. Again, not the first casting thought I had in mind, but I feel like it works well with the character. We can see that Dean is drinking something from a vial, which actually contains a drug called morphine. This is a really nice addition to me, because it already shows his addiction to the drug, which would play a key role later on in the movie. We then see Highbottom in a hall, and there's a bit of an Easter egg in the background, with the name Heavensby. Again, a very nice addition, because the place where Highbottom and the rest are at is called Heavensby Hall. We then see our first shot of Coriolanus Snow next to Clementia Dovecote. Snow is played by Tom Blythe, and I have to admit, he's really book accurate to what I pictured in my head when reading this book. Clementia is played by Ashley Liao, and she's also pretty book accurate, as she was described as having raven black hair and brown skin. We then get our first scene of District 12 with Lucy Gray striding forward. Lucy's dress is absolutely spot on as to how it was described in the book, and we get the next shot of her bowing. Rachel Zegler is Lucy Gray's actress, and she nailed it with the bow because it ties really closely with how Katniss bowed in the movies from the trilogy. After it, we get a scene of the tributes going in a train, and I recognize this as the part of the book when Snow accidentally joins Lucy Gray in the train and almost gets beaten up by the tributes if it weren't for Lucy. We see Snow with the signature white rose that he often used to threaten Katniss in the trilogy, and the addition over here is once again spot on. We know from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes book that at an early age, Snow would often get these white roses from his house to look presentable, and I just love how even later on in his life, he continues to use it. We then see Lucy and Snow meeting for the first time, and it's just like how I imagined it.
What does my mentor do besides bring me roses?
I do my best to take care of you.
After this conversation, we get our first look on the arena, and I believe this is the part of the book when all of the tributes and mentors start getting a tour around the place before it is suddenly bombed. We then get this part of the trailer where they introduce Lucky Flickerman, the first ever host of the Hunger Games, and I have to admit, I love how they found a guy that looks so much like the actor of Caesar Flickerman from the trilogy. After it, we see the outside shot of the arena, and we cut to the inside part when the games are about to begin. One thing to note is that the games are just about to start, and the arena is already broken for some reason. This because of the bombing that I mentioned earlier that took place when the mentors and tributes were taking a tour of the arena. We then get this awesome scene of all the tributes running to the cornucopia for supplies, and we get a conversation with Snow and Dr. Gaul next. In it, they changed Dr. Gaul's eye color on one of her eyes. It's not from the book, but I honestly like it, because it really shows the inner evil insanity that Dr. Gaul had. We had the tributes fighting in the next shots, and Lucy Gray looking terrified, which again, are so accurate to the book. From Lucy looking terrified, we shift to seeing her lead Snow away from the tributes who are trying to kill them, and I think this is what happens after Snow breaks in the arena to rescue Sejanus from there. We then see a tribute who I didn't really recognize at first, but looking at it now, it's Reaper. Reaper was a tribute who would take the capital flag and use it to hide the bodies of the other dead tributes, which he does in the next shots. After it, we go back to District 12, and I think this is the part when Snow was made a peacekeeper, as in the book, he was sent on a train going to District 12, and we see that train here. We meet Snow and Lucy again, and I have to admit, on the first watch, I didn't recognize Snow that much because of the new haircut he got, and I low-key questioned it for a bit, but that was before I realized that this was Snow after becoming a peacekeeper, so it made sense that they cut his hair already. The next scene is basically Snow getting arrested because of cheating in the games, and we see this incredible shot of Snow looking horrified and stunned afterwards. I didn't really recognize it at first, but I think this is the moment when Snow killed Bobbin in the arena. Bobbin was a tribute, and he was the first person Snow ever killed. In the book, Snow was horrified as to what he did, but he quickly shook it off because Dr. Gaul told him to justify the murder, as Bobbin was the one who tried to kill him first, and if it weren't for that, Snow wouldn't have killed him. After, we get a scene of peacekeepers arresting a beaten up guy, and at first I thought it was Arlo, a rebel who killed 3 people in District 12, but seeing Snow's horrified face made me realize it was Spruce. Spruce was a guy Snow was with when Snow murdered the mayor's daughter Mayfair Lip, and the reason why he looks horrified in this next part is because Spruce getting arrested meant that the peacekeepers were now investigating the murder that Snow made, and Snow might get arrested himself. The next part shows Snow getting really upset about something, which honestly confused me on the first watch, but looking more closely, he's probably upset because of a letter Tigris sent him about how they were going to lose their house because of tax reasons. The next part of the trailer is Snow angrily shooting in the forest, and I kid you not, I almost screamed because that scene was so accurate as to what happened. This is the part when Snow tried to kill Lucy Gray, thinking that she tried to kill him, and he shot endlessly in the forest even though he didn't even know if one of the bullets hit her. This little bit of the trailer is stunning to me because we see Tom Blythe's raw emotion and anger and pain, which is exactly what Snow was feeling as he tried to kill the love of his life. Dean Highbottom then talks to Snow with an incredible quote. He said,
"You hear that, boy? It's the sound of snow falling."
We get a next scene of Lucy and Snow bonding with the Covey. And speaking of the Covey, we see Lucy with her signature guitar with a band, and it made me so happy to see it, as I wish the filmmakers included the song she made from the book. This simple shot of Snow smiling at her afterwards might be a small thing to many, but I honestly find it really sweet to add, because I think it shows how much Lucy and Snow bonded, and how Snow's feelings for her were starting to develop. We see Lucy and Lucky Flickerman on TV, and I love how she has her guitar with her, because we all know that she performed a song that night for the interview. The next scene we see is Snow arguing with Tigris, and he says,
"Everything is about winning."
an ideology that he will have for the rest of his life. We then see Dr. Gaul with Clytemnestra and Snow, and she shows off the snakes that she'll put in the arena, which are once again spot on from the book. We see Sejanus throwing a chair and screaming, "You monsters! All of you!" And I think this is because of his tribute Marcus dying in the arena. After it, we get this incredible shot of Dr. Gaul laughing evilly, and I absolutely love it because it captures her inner evil insanity that I mentioned earlier. We get more scenes of peacekeeper training before going to my most favorite part of the trailer. We see Lucy playing with a snake, and a voiceover comes in. It says,
It's the things we love most that destroy us.
That quote was from the future adult Snow, and it honestly gave me goosebumps because it dawned on me that Snow learns this lesson because of the events of this movie. Adding that quote is just genius on the filmmaker's part for me. And that's how the trailer ends. I don't know about you guys, but seeing this first look into what's gonna happen in this movie already makes me so excited to watch it this November. So how about you? What do you think of this trailer? Let me know in the comments down below.